PhDs of Reddit. What is a dumbed down summary of your thesis? This protein looks like it might contribute to asthma. Oh, turns out it probably doesn't. And that's how science moves forward. This is true. But it's only useful if someone will publish it. People sometimes think about animals as if they are people. People like those animals a little more than regular animals. Except when they don't. I can't believe they gave me a PhD. Yeah, me neither. Do you think it's a bad sign that the diploma they sent is macaroni glued to a paper plate? When I get rid of this gene, it messes the brain up a lot. Don't get rid of that gene. This is the equivalent of seeing removing this line breaks the code. Not sure why in comments. Code seems like it does nothing. System does nothing without the code. Do not delete. You can make antimatter move in strange ways if you set your equipment up wrong. Can we find Higgs bosons here? No. Sup. You could have saved me 6 years. Just be glad PhDs can't be revoked. Sand washes away. Don't build important stuff on it. Isn't that a Jesus quote? Today I learned Jesus was a qualified PhD engineer. Girls take birth control. Girls pee out unmetabolized estrogens from birth control. Pee goes to water treatment plant. Estrogens not treated. Male fish become female fish. I remember reading years ago about the fish in waters near Dallas. It wasn't birth control. It was Prozac. Very mellow fishes though. Little things stick together. Here's a slightly easier way to calculate their stickiness. Van der Waals forces? Yes, specifically Casimir force. Sounds luxurious. In patients with schizophrenia are happier and socialize more in the context of a music listening group. It was obvious before we began the project and we learned nothing. But you put the words onto paper, which makes it easier for psychiatry professionals to convince their bosses to put it on the budget. Haha, I work on a psych ward. We had a director who did away with music because it agitates people, turns them into animals. Luckily for us, her replacement was a little smarter. Music agitates people and turns them into animals? What bizarre Methodist hospital was this? If you put some plastics in water they swell up. If you put them under the skin they absorb tissue fluid and swell up. Tada new skin. Kids who are intensely bullied grow up to be adults with really low self-esteem and are generally less successful than their peers. Math doesn't real because real doesn't real. It maths. Me too thanks. Better version. How can math be real if real isn't real? Mathematician here. What the hell are you trying to say? My guess is that he is saying mathematics doesn't always follow our intuition because the world doesn't follow our intuition. It follows math. Why does a coffee stain looks the way it is and how you can use it to make anti-laser glasses. So you can shoot down lasers with glasses? You can design glasses so that you can see everything but one wavelength so that your pilot eyes are shielded. But we'll never know for sure. Lasers are forbidden by international laws of war and the glasses were never made. Nanoparticles are weird and I accidentally made a bomb and electrocuted myself. You should get yourself checked for superpowers. I can make models of galaxies in a computer, but I can't explain why they don't act like real ones. Even if I bash them together or stir them around. It's probably all that dank matter in your sick simulation, bro. Bad sleep may be a cause of depression rather than a symptom of it. One explanation might be that bad sleep makes the brain preferentially process negative stuff. We can measure that bias in processing with my fancy new test. This has been the last 6 years of my life. My doctors thought I was sleeping poorly for years because I was depressed and sent me to therapy but put me on trazodone so I could get some sleep for now while I was supposed to be fixing my depression. Thing is, once I started sleeping solidly through the night my depression faded and now I'm totally fine but still on the sleeping pills. It took years for them to say, I guess you were depressed because you were tired, not tired because you were depressed. You're in a room with 3 mirrored walls in a triangle. WTF does it look like? So, what's it look like? Don't make me go buy some bigger mirrors. To be fair, this is the dumbed down version. The reality is that they are 2-dimensional mirrors in a 4-dimensional hyperbolically curved space that meet at infinity. Done. Guess I can't buy those mirrors. People trying meditation for the first time get aroused. I've meditated several times. I don't remember getting aroused ever. That being said, I haven't read your thesis. You probably reached a different conclusion. What the hell, I read the OP as medication until I saw this. Makes more sense now. Two proteins touch each other in a specific place in the developing heart. No idea if it's important for anything. Good touch or bad touch. When two proteins love each other, they make chaperone proteins feel really awkward. Making new magnets from old magnets because we're running out of magnets. Had no idea there was a magnet shortage. Does that mean the novelty magnets on my fridge will become valuable? Cells have a thing that shut down protein synthesis. That thing's used clinically to kill cancer cells. Go dumber. Cells do thing to cancer dead. Go dumberer. Cells. Cancer is kill. Ducking magnets. How do they work? Positive charge in male organ. Negative charge in female. Attraction ensues. Negative charge in female. Is that why every girl I ask out on a date responds with a no? When the government wants to give handouts to poor people, too much of that money winds up in the hands of people who aren't poor at all. Why? Because the forms you have to fill in to get the handouts are too complicated, and poor people can't read so good. I used a laser like a tractor beam to grab single bacterial cells from a species that make electricity and land them on teeny tiny electrodes I custom made to measure how much electricity a single bacteria makes. It's around 15 to 100 femtoamperes of current per cell. The stereotype that the more time you spend online, the more scared you are of the world, it's pretty darn accurate. The men who settled British Columbia had a different conception of masculinity than the men who settled the prairie provinces. There are amobas living in volcanoes, but I never captured Bigfoot on film. I tried. TLDR, if you take some deeper looks, you'll see neat things in Seuss books. There's lots of theory here and there, and symbolism everywhere. Take one look, or three, or two. You find more than Salisaloo. Things to analyze and read, then write until your fingers bleed. 40 something pages deep, and then you can go to sleep. Your thesis done and graduation. Time to teach. It's education. Being very sad can make you sick. Being very sad for a long amount, if time can make you very sick, maybe die earlier. I'm working on that bit still. MA working on dissertation. If you buy expensive lasers and shine them into a microscope, you can take 3D pictures of brains and stuff that map out the chemicals inside them. Insulating foam is used on the space station. Sometimes electrical wires can overheat, causing it to start smoldering. How and why does this happen? What would cause it to go from smoldering to an open fire? And how can we stop this? Today I learned my shower thoughts can be used to make a PhD thesis. That is way truer than you may realize. 90% of my articles, lectures, and grant-funded projects start out as a shower thought. Pain, in all its forms, results from unmet expectations. Old gay people are doing just fine. By asking 20 simple questions to 50 selected employees of a big firm about their job satisfaction, habits, and hobbies, you can estimate the following year's share price. Empirical evidence strongly support that. These 20 questions can predict the future of the stock market. You won't believe number 14. In an online job posting, formatting has a larger effect than content on eliciting a response from job seekers, qualified and otherwise. Edit, because people asked. Here are the things I can say. To be clear up front, most of the findings will save you from putting extra effort into a job posting that gets no additional response, rather than tell you how to increase the response. Also, note that I lost sight of the applicants after they clicked the apply button. Did they interview poorly? Did they abandon navigating the UI disgrace that is Talia? I can't say. Schools are continuing to look a lot like prisons, and students are becoming increasingly treated like prisoners and criminals. In many school districts, police are handling minor school delinquency, like tardiness, writing on a desk, possession of minor contraband like a can of soda or a cell phone, which results in a lot of kids getting a record for normal childhood behavior. In short, cops, called school resource officers, are increasingly handling discipline instead of teachers or school administrators. And yes, black, Hispanic, and poor males are differentially impacted. This just contributes to the school to prison pipeline without decreasing delinquency in schools. TLDR, cops in schools arrest kids, often with little cause, without a corresponding increase in school safety.